Hi guys! Today we are gonna read a Hungarian short story and I will help you understand it better. First, I will read it out loud for you once, then we will go sentence by sentence and I will dissect the sentences for you. I will show words, expressions, grammar, hidden things that you would otherwise overlook. I mentioned some hacks that you can use when you are reading any Hungarian text. You can get the Hungarian text and the translation for free if you join my free Patreon members or higher tiers as well. Higher tiers will have access for notes too. Link is below in the description. So, first I will read the whole thing in Hungarian. You can shadow me. It means that you can try to read it with me, mimic me. Use the space button and stop if you need time. Or you can just listen to the whole text and see how much you can understand from the text without any help. After that, I will explain how each sentence is built up. I will highlight words, grammar, expressions, or any other stuff that I think it will be useful for you. You will need some basic understanding of Hungarian, but I think it will be useful even if you don't know much. And if you are an advanced learner, don't worry, you will find a lot of useful stuff here as well. Let's start with the Hungarian text. Csak egy film. A haverommal épp az egyik kedvenc filmünket nézzük, a Gyűrűk urát. Ez az első rész, a Gyűrű szövetsége. 2 óra 58 perc hosszú. Még a film elején tartunk. Frodo házában vagyunk, és Samu most bukott le a hallgatózásával. Füvet nyírt, de a fűnyírás hangja abba maradt, és ezt Gandalf észrevette. Egy rántással beúszta Samut a házba, és most épp kikérdezi, hogy mit hallott. Csöngetnek. Nem a filmben, hanem a valóságban. Furcsa. 5 perce rendeltük meg a kaját. Ennyi idő alatt még az étteremben sem kapnám meg a rendelésünket. Akkor viszont ez nem a futár lesz. De este 10-kor mégis ki lehet az? Gyorsan megállítom a filmet, felpattanok, és oda sietek a kaputelefonhoz. Oda teszem a sámlit a kaputelefon mellé. Muszáj, mert különben nem érném el. Alacsony termetű vagyok. 145 centi magas. Én. Haló, tessék? Hang a kaputelefonból. Jó estét kívánok, küldeményt hoztam. Este 10-kor. És nem is várok semmiféle küldeményt. Ez a végzett utca 12? Igen. 23-as lakás? Igen. Akkor jó helyen járok, kérem engedjen be. A főnökétől hoztam küldeményt. Beengedem, ha megmondja a főnököm teljes nevét. Bács Attila. Na, erre nem számítottam. Tényleg így hívják a főnökömet. Jöjjön be, 9. emelet. Sajnos a lift nem működik. Csend. Itt van még? Igen, na jó, nem bánom, felmegyek. Kérem várjon meg, mert lehet kicsit lassú leszek. Sanyi bentről kikiabál nekem. Ki az? Itt a kaja? Nem, hanem csomagom érkezett. Ilyenkor? Úgy tűnik. És kitől? A főnökömtől. Jó nagy paraszt! Szombat este sem hagy téged pihenni? Úgy tűnik. A futárnak már rég fel kellett volna érnie. Tényleg lassú. Pár perc múlva lépteket hallok a lépcső felől. És valami furcsa kopogást is. Mindjárt itt van. Amikor felér a lépcsőn és befordul a folyósomra, akkor meglátom, hogy sétabottal jött. Már értem a lassúság okát. De a sétnabotnál is nagyobb meglepetés, hogy a futár a nagybátyám. Gábor, te mióta vagy futár? Dehogy vagyok futár, csak gondoltam megtréfállak. Sikerült. Már kezdtem azon gondolkozni, hogy feljövöm a főnököm és felmondok. Gyere be! Bejövök, de nem maradok hosszan, csak ezt akarom odaadni neked. Csak most vettem észre, hogy egy kis fekete doboz tart a másik kezében. Felnyitom a dobozt. Megkéred a kezem? Ne légy ostoba! Esztert veszem el, és azt szeretném, ha te lennél a gyűrű hordozó az esküvőn. Vállalod? Persze, örömmel. Nem is tudom, hogy mit mondjak. Remek! Tartsd titokban, és ne mondd el senkinek. Mi az? Pszt! Hallod? Nem hallok semmit. Pont ez az. Egy ideje megszűnt a csócsalás a nappalitban. Egy perce még tisztán hallottam. Ebben a pillanatban Gábor hirtelen benyúlt a szobába, és a hajánál fogva behúzta a konyhába Sanyit, a haveromat. Beszélj, fiú! Mit hallottál? Semmit. Csak azt, hogy Ferinek vigyáznia kell a gyűrűre. Vigyázni kell egy gyűrűre. És még... Sanyi megpróbált elfutni Gábor mellett ki a lakásból, de Gábor az útját állta és megcsóválta a fejét. Itt úgy se jössz át. Gábor bácsi, én nem akartam hallgatózni. Mit hallottál még? Azt, hogy elveszi Esztert. Ez maradjon is köztünk. Most mennem kell. Még meg kell néznem egy potenciális esküvői helyszínt. Hová mész? Vasudvarba. Vasudvarba? Ismerősen hangzik. Sanyi rám néz, és elkezd engem a vállamnál finoman rázni. Feri, kelj fel! Most fogna bemenni Múriába. Ne aludj, lemaradsz az egészről. Mi? A kanapén fekszek, és csorog a nyálasamból. Aludtam. Az egész csak álom volt. Csöngetnek. So, that was the Hungarian text. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, we will dissect the text, yeah? But before we start, I just want to highlight a few things for you, which will be useful even if you analyze any kind of text, yeah? Any kind of Hungarian text. So first of all, you always need to look for the subject. The subject who does the act, yeah? So in English it's easier because basically the English word order is built up for showing what is a role of each word in a sentence. Yeah, so first you say, I did this. So you know that the subject is I. Yeah, in Hungarian it's not as easy as that. So first of all, usually we don't provide most of the time the pronouns like I, én, you, te, he, she, it, ő. So usually we don't say the pronouns out loud. Sometimes we do when we want to emphasize things. So I did it, not him. Yeah, but most of the time we don't provide the pronouns. So we have some cues usually to make sure what is the subject in a sentence. Most of the time it will be verb conjugation. Yeah. So I will just show you one. If you have any basic knowledge of the Hungarian language, you will understand this. So beszélek is I speak, yeah? And for example, beszélsz is you speak, yeah? Singular. Yeah, in Hungarian we have singular you and plural you. Like in English, sometimes you say you all, yeah? It sounds a bit like countryside-ish or odd, but in English. But in Hungarian, it's totally normal to say you all, which would be like ti. Or if you want to say you all are speaking, you can say beszéltek. Anyways, these are cues for you to know what is the subject, yeah? So these things can help you. Sometimes you need to rely on other things, but most of the time it will be enough. But you need to make sure that this is one of the first things that you will look at in a sentence. So then you need to look at what is the role of a certain word in a sentence, yeah? So, okay, so some words will be about like subject, some words will be like verbs, and sometimes you will have like location, direct object, and so on. So you need to understand what is what. Of course, you need to know expressions, words, suffixes, and we will see some of that in this video, but I will not get into the details. You need to have like some knowledge about the grammar and expressions, but I hope I will expand your knowledge today about that a bit. Yeah. It is also useful to know what's the stem of a word. Yeah. For example, many times students think they don't know certain words just because it has a suffix. Yeah. But if you cut off the suffix and just look at the stem, oh, I know it. Basic example here, a könyvem. So maybe you would think, oh, I don't know what does it mean, yeah? But if you just look at the stem, könyv, okay, it's book, and it has some form of suffix on it. Maybe you know the suffix, maybe you don't, but at least you have some idea about the word, yeah? A bit more complex idea about this, like ebben. I had a student, for example, who didn't recognize these kind of words. So ebben basically is as, which is this, and the suffix bomben. So in this, or abban would be in that, as is that. And it was an epiphany for one of my students when we read text and I helped him understand the text. And we looked at a word like this, like ebben. And oh, so this is just this in some other form, and after that he could understand text much more easily because we have many words like this. So for example, if you see the stem e or o, this is just a letter, many times it can mean just this and that if it has it with a suffix. So for example, has would be as plus the suffix hoz, has, hers, yeah? So has. Of course, you need to know the meaning of the suffixes, and the meaning of the suffixes can vary a lot. So it's always about expressions. So it can get more complicated, but at least you have some idea about it, yeah? So I think it's very useful. You can also ask yourself, what do I recognize? I also see it in my students many times that they can recognize a lot of words, but somehow they feel sometimes helpless, yeah? They afraid to put a sentence together. But if you can just write down, or maybe you don't need to write it down, but you make a list in your mind, okay, so I know this word, I know this suffix, I might know this expression, and you can try to put it together. Maybe you can form a sentence in your head. Maybe it would be off. Maybe you would be wrong, but at least you try. And you can develop an idea about what the sentence could be about. And if you do it more and more times, you can get better and better at it. Yeah. So let's take a look at, for example, here. You may recognize that könyv is book, or maybe you don't know the word book, könyv, but you can recognize the stem m. And many times it will be some kind of, it will be related about me, I, yeah? So sometimes it can be a verb conjugation. If you know verb conjugation, you will know that this can be the ending for definite conjugation I, yeah? So for example, I'm eating, sem, yeah? So you can see, you may don't know the stem, but you can recognize the suffix, and it's related to me, I, yeah? And it can be also a possessive suffix. In this case, it's not a verb conjugation, it's a possessive suffix, my book, yeah? So you can have some idea about it. But I have to tell you, it can be a bit tricky. So I don't want to discourage you, but it can trick you, yeah? So you need to be a bit more precise, or how should I put it? For example, let's take a look at these two words, le and le. So many times students disregard the accents. It's okay, I know, because maybe in your language you don't have accents on vowels, so you don't really feel the difference, but they matter. So if you look at le, it means down, but if you say le, it's juice, like apple juice is alma le, yeah? So these kind of things matter, and yeah, of course, you may misrecognize something, but it's still a good idea to look at what you can recognize. And when you are progressing, you will make less and less mistakes, so that's okay. What any other thing you can recognize or you know about the sentence? Type of conjugation. Is it present tense? Is it a conditional tense? Imperative? Anything? You may recognize a possessive stem, like I told you here before, a könyvem, my book. yeah, a táskám, my bag, yeah, or a person. You also need to look out sometimes for implied words. Sometimes when some grammar or some sentences don't make sense to you, yeah, it can be that there are some implied words. Maybe it's an expression and we don't use the whole expression, just the short version of it. Yeah. So for example, very simple thing. Jó napot kívánok would be the long version. So I wish you a good day. Yeah, that's what we use for greetings during the day. But many times we just say jó napot. We don't say I wish, kívánok. Yeah? Or also, many times, why is it a big T? Yeah? Sorry. It can be many times that we have hidden direct objects. Yeah? So for example, many times I just say szeretem. I love it. But we don't say it or I love this, yeah, so szeretem ezt, if it's obvious from the previous sentences, from the context, yeah. That's an unfortunate thing. It can give you some headaches, but if you get used to the language, you can get used to this, yeah. Also verbs, this is just the example I told you. And there can be other things that we imply as well. Okay, I talked a lot about what you can do in general. Now I want to start and dissect the sentences and analyze them. Yeah? Csak egy film, just a movie. Yeah? So csak is just or only, egy is a or an or one, and film is movie. Just a movie, that's the title. A haverommal épp az egyik kedvenc filmüket nézzük, a Gyűrűk urát. Yeah? So haver means mate, buddy, pal. A haverom means my mate, and a haverommal is with my mate. We have this suffix val, which in general means with, and after consonants it assimilates the last consonant. So a haverom val basically will be a haverommal, the double M. Yeah. If a word ends with a vowel, then it will get like just val, yes, or kutyával, with the dog. But if it ends with a consonant, it will be assimilated. Yeah. And another thing, it's a very simple thing, so sorry for advanced learners, but I just want to mention it. So if any word ends with a or e, like pite, pie, and it gets any suffix, any kind of suffix, that a will change to a, like kutyával, and that e will change to e, pite, pitével. Yeah? This is basically Hungarian grammar 101, so you need to know that. If you put any suffix on these kind of words, you need to change these vowels. Okay, and another thing about this my mate. So English people usually say my mate and I, my wife and I. But we Hungarians speak differently, so we generally say with my mate, with my wife. Yeah. Grammatically, it would be correct to say my mate and I, a haverom és én, but that's not how we speak. So I suggest, I recommend to you to do our way. It will sound much more Hungarian. Yeah. Whenever you want to say sentences like. My girlfriend and I went to a party. A barátnőmmel elmentünk egy buliba. With my girlfriend, we went to a party. Yeah. Okay, so we have épp. Épp, it means right now, but I wouldn't even put it into the English translation. I would it just usually denotes present continuous. So present continuous in English, like to be and ing, so like I'm doing something, I'm eating a sandwich, and so on. Yeah, so that's present continuous. Whenever you say that in Hungarian, we might or might not use this word épp. Yeah? Az egyik kedvenc filmünket nézzük. So az egyik is one of, and I have to tell you something here. Yeah? So for example, az egyik cseresznye, that's a basic example. Az egyik cseresznye, one of the cherries. Yeah? So that's how we would say one of the cherries. But in English you say plural, cherries, one of the cherries, and we just would put it in singular. Yeah? So we wouldn't say cseresznyék, we would say cseresznye. Az egyik cseresznye, one of the cherries. Yeah? Or if you want to look at az egyik film, one of the movies. Yeah? But it's a bit more complex here because az egyik kedvenc filmünket, so kedvenc is favorite, yeah? And ünk is our, and at is the sign of direct object. So if you just look at this one, it means one of our favorite movies, yeah, as a direct object, yeah? So it will become a direct object. And néz valamit is to watch something, yeah? And we need to use the T suffix, which means this verb uses a direct object, and then the direct object will be like one of our favorite movies. Yeah? Then gyűrű is ring, gyűrűk is rings. Yeah? And úr, it can mean many things. It can mean Lord, Sir, Mr. In this case, it will mean Lord. Yeah? And we will use a possessive structure, so the rings Lord, or in English, you can it would be the same thing. So somebody's Lord or something's Lord is the same as like Lord of somebody. Yeah. So that's what's happening here. A gyűrűk ura, or I will write it down. No, it's actually here. Sorry. So a gyűrűk ura. The English of possessive structure is basically a special case of it possessive. That's what I try to show here. I know it can be confusing when to try to create these things. It was also for me when I learned English, yeah? But basically, if you have any kind of off structure in English, maybe you can first just convert it into this apostrophe S structure, like Lord of somebody, Lord of the Rings, so the rings Lord, yeah? And then you try to apply the rules that you learned when you learned about possessives. Yeah, we will not get into the chart because that would be very long, but that's what's happening here. Yeah. I created some examples in like a kutya csontja, the dog's bone, or bone of the dog. I know it's silly example, but that's how it looked like. And if you look at just one ring, yeah, a gyűrű ura, the ring's Lord, Lord of the ring, yeah. And if it's like several rings, yeah, are the possessors, then a gyűrűk ura, the rings Lord, Lord of the Rings, yeah. And also, we have to find the subject. Who is the subject? And in this case, it will be we, me, yes, so my mate and I. And we have two cues, yeah. So basically, we say my mate and I with my mate, yeah. And the other one is nézzük. This is verb conjugation for we, definite conjugation. Yeah? So you need to be familiar with the conjugation. This is present. This is just a simple present conjugation and a definite variation. Okay. So what does this sentence mean here? It means my mate and I are watching one of our favorite movies, The Lord of the Rings. Yeah? Let's go to the second sentence. Ez az első rész a gyűrű szövetsége. Yeah? So rész is part and episode. So as is this. So this is the first part, the first episode. A gyűrű szövetsége. So szövetség means fellowship, alliance, association, federation. Yeah? And we have the same structure here as well. So in English you would say the fellowship of the ring, yeah, or the ring's fellowship. So a gyűrű szövetsége. This shows possessive structure. Yeah. So this is the first episode, the fellowship of the ring. 2 óra 58 perc hosszú. Yeah? So I like to show this to my students. Óra can mean many things. Yeah? So it can mean hour. 5 óra hosszú. It is 5 hours long. It can mean clock, watch. Hol van az órám? Where is my watch? Yeah? Or it can be a big clock as well. So any kind of time measuring device. Yeah? It can mean o'clock. 6 óra van. It's 6 o'clock. It can mean lesson. A mai órán a számokról tanulunk. We will learn about the numbers in today's lesson. It can mean also class. Késtem a magyar óráról. I was late for Hungarian class. Yeah. Here it will just mean hour. You can see the example is very similar to here. So 5 óra hosszú, it is 5 hours long. Or it can also mean 2 hours and 58 minutes long. Yeah. So 5 is 5, 50 is 50, and 58 is 58. Perc is minute, hosszú is long. Yeah? Még a film elején tartunk. Yeah? So, something, the beginning of something or something's beginning is this expression, valami eleje. So you need to substitute instead of valami, that kind of thing that it's the beginning of, yeah. So a film eleje, it would be, write it down. A film eleje, and I missed the yeah. Okay, so a film eleje, the beginning of the movie, yeah. And then the verb start has many different meanings. So don't stress over about it. So also when I learn English, I have to learn verbs that have many meanings, just like to take, to have. You can have like 15 different meanings or even more and different expressions with these, yeah? In general, the verb start means to hold, yeah? Just for your information. But here it means we have this expression tart valahol, to be somewhere, to have got somewhere. We only use it when you are on kind of like a journey, something that has an ending, and when you want to describe what part of are you at that part of journey, or in this case, time frame period. Yeah? We will see. So we have this suffix an, on, and ön. Usually, in general, it means on a surface. Yeah. So valami eleje at the beginning or something's beginning. A film eleje, the beginning of the movie. Yeah. A film elején, at the beginning of the movie. So basically, we are still at the beginning of the movie. Yeah, that's what it means. Még a film elején tartunk, még still. Yeah? Frodo házában vagyunk, és Samu most bukott le a hallgatózásával. Yeah? Lebukik valamivel, to be or to get busted with something, to get caught doing something. Yeah? Hallgat is to listen, but hallgatózik is to eavesdrop, and hallgatózás is a noun, eavesdropping. Yeah? I will put this here. A hallgatózása is his eavesdropping, and a hallgatózásával with his eavesdropping. Yeah? So basically it means we are in Frodo's house and Shamu has just busted with his eavesdropping. Yeah? So Frodo házában, in Frodo's house, we are at, yeah? Vagyunk, we are, and Shamu just got busted with his eavesdropping. Yeah? Füvet nyírt, de a fűnyírás hangja abba maradt, és ezt Gandalf észrevette. Fű is grass, füvet nyír with a short ü, yeah, so two dots, to mow the lawn, yeah. Fűnyírás is mowing the lawn, yeah. It's a noun. Then we have hang, which is sound, and we will again have this possessive of structure. A fűnyírás hangja, the sound of mowing, yeah. And we have a verb, valami abba marad. Well, this is a tricky one, yeah. So I have to tell you a caveat. So we have another form of this, valaki abba hagy valamit, egy cselekvést. Somebody stops something, an act, yeah. So in Hungarian we have a lot of verb pairs that have two sides. And unfortunately in English those verbs usually have the same verb. In English you only have a few like this, so I want to show you two examples in English, like to rise and to raise. Emelkedik is, so you can see emelkedik is to rise, and to raise is emel, yeah? Very similar but not the same thing. To lie and to lay, yeah? Fekszik and fektet. Now in English you may only have this, we also have sit and set. But basically you have these three verb pairs that acts like this, I think. Now in Hungarian we have many more, way more, yeah? So it's always about who is the subject and who is the object. So for example, Samu abba hagyta a fűnyírást, yeah? Samu stopped the mowing, the lawn. So here the subject is Samu and the direct object is mowing, yeah? So Samu abba hagyta a fűnyírást. As opposed to, a fűnyírás abba maradt. The mowing is stopped. Subject is mowing and it stopped itself, yeah? So you need to be aware of this. So that's what happens here. So he was, where are we? He was moving the lawn, but the sound of the moving stopped, and Gandalf noticed it. Ezt Gandalf észrevette. Yeah? So as is this, est is this as a direct object, you can see the T. Észrevesz valamit, to notice something, and észrevette, he noticed, definite conjugation. So it's he, she, it, and definite conjugation. And want to show just by the way, if you want to do the indefinite conjugation, it would be észrevett. So you can see the difference. If you don't know about definite and indefinite conjugation, I would definitely look that up. I always recommend Sita Silvia's the practical Hungarian grammar book, and you can go over and read everything about grammar, and this is one of the basics. Yeah, maybe in the future I will also make a video about it. Right now I don't have any video on it, but in the future might be. Okay, so if we go here back, he was mowing the lawn, but the sound of the mowing stopped, and Gandalf noticed it. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next sentence. Egy rántással beúszta Samut a házba, és most épp kikérdezi, hogy mit hallott. So, egy rántással. Yeah? So, ránt is to yank. Rántás, yank as a noun, or yanking, maybe. I would put it like that, yeah. Or a yank, yeah. And by the way, most of the times we will use ránt as to deep fry something in crumbs. And rántás would mean a thickening made with wheat flour, fat, and usually garlic and piros paprika in stews, and more likely in soups. Yeah, so that's the most often used meaning for rántás and ránt, but here it will mean a yanking and to yank. Yeah. Beúszta Samut a házba, so to pull Shamu into the house, a házba, and whose is to pull, to drag, or he dragged him, and behúz valamit, to pull in something, to drag in something. Yeah, we use the prefix here. És most épp kikérdezi. And is now questioning him. Yeah, so kikérdez valakit, to question somebody. So what does it mean? For example, a zsaru kikérdezi a gyanúsítottat a kihallgató szobában. The cop is questioning the suspect in the interrogation room. Yeah. And here actually we have an implied direct object, because you can see, if you know verb conjugation, that this is definite. So he questions, but definite conjugation. And you don't really see here a direct object, actually, especially a definite direct object, but it's here, it's azt. Yeah? So it's an implied direct object. Kikérdezi azt, hogy mit hallott, what he heard. Yeah? Hall is to hear, and hallott, he heard, indefinite conjugation. Yeah? Hogy mit hallott. Now, csöngetnek. Csönget is to ring the doorbell. And by the way, csenget is also good. So there are words in the Hungarian language that can use both ö and e. And it's kind of like interchangeable. It's not like one of them is like bad or old or something like that. For example, sometimes I say fell and sometimes I say föl, and both of them good. It means up. Sometimes I say csönget, sometimes I say csenget, both of them good. Yeah, but you need to know what words are like that. So you can just switch ö and arbitrarily. Yeah, so don't do that. So csöngetnek means they ring the doorbell. But here has a passive way of forming. I would say the doorbell rings. Yeah. Nem a filmben, hanem a valóságban. So not in the movie, but in real life. Yeah, or in reality. So this hanem is a bit weird. I want to show you something. It's not just a simple but it's like a but rather or but instead. I want to show you some differences, yeah, to understand. There is also but. It's just a general conjunction to contest two ideas or statements. Yeah. So let's take a look at it in a sentence. Szeretnék menni, de nincs időm. I would like to go, but I don't have time. While hanem is like but rather, but instead. So directly negate the first statement and replace it with something else. Nem teát kérek, hanem kávét. I don't want tea, but rather coffee. So it would be wrong to say the here. So nem teát kérek, de kávét. It would be very wrong. Yeah? Or you can also say, ez nem macska, hanem kutya. This is not a cat, but a dog. Yeah? I know it's a bit weird and you need to get used to it, but if you see it a lot, and if you start to use it with a teacher or with some exercises, you can improve that and feel when it's used to, when you should use the and when you should use hanem. Yeah? And valóság is reality. So not in the movie, but in reality. Furcsa. It means strange, weird. 5 percre rendeltük meg a kaját. So there are a few things going on there. So rendel valamit to order something, like in a restaurant or like a delivery service. Yeah? Kaja is food, and it's a bit slangish, but it's totally good. It's not rude or anything. It's just not like a formal way of speaking. Perc is minute. Yeah, and I wanted to show you something. So 5 perce. The full sentence means we ordered the food 5 minutes ago. Yeah. So 5 perccel ezelőtt means 5 minutes ago, and we also have another way of saying it, 5 perce. And the question word would be here, mikor, when. It's a certain point of time. But we have actions that started in the past and still going on. In English, usually it will be like a present perfect continuous plus 4. So I have been learning for 5 hours. Yeah. And the question here is mióta, which is either since when or how long. Yeah. And it can be a bit confusing because there are a few things. So I will show you and then I let you know what are the confusing things here. So let's take a look at 5 perccel ezelőtt érkeztem. I arrived 5 minutes ago. It's also the same thing. 5 perc érkeztem, I arrived 5 minutes ago. Yeah? That is a certain point of time. When I arrived here, that was a certain point of time. As opposed to 5 perce vagyok itt. I've been here for 5 minutes. Yeah? So this is an ongoing process. Yeah? So I marked it with the orange part. Yeah? So actions that started in the past and still going on. Yeah? Or let's take a look at another thing. 5 perccel ezelőtt rendeltünk. We ordered 5 minutes ago. 5 perce rendeltünk. It also means we ordered 5 minutes ago. 5 perce főz a szakács. The cook has been cooking for 5 minutes. So it's an ongoing process. It's not just a point of time. He's cooking for a period of time and he's still cooking. He started in the past and it's still going on. So you need to distinguish these two. So there are some unfortunate things. So basically we will use the same wording for both of them. Yeah, so we use 5 perce, but you can't use 5 perccel ezelőtt, which only means ago, 5 minutes ago, for the ongoing thing. Yeah. So while you can use 5 perce for everything, but you can't use 5 perccel ezelőtt for the other one. Yeah. So it's a bit tricky. You can also do it with hours, month, and so on. So I'm not going on in this. Maybe in the future I will make a video about it, or you can look it up. But at least good to know about it, to be aware about it. That's this whole video. I want to show you things to be cautious and to be aware of. Yeah. And did I translate you the whole thing? Yes. So we ordered the food 5 minutes ago. Ennyi idő alatt még az étteremben sem kapnánk meg a rendelésünket. In this amount of time, we wouldn't even get our order at the restaurant. So, ennyi means this amount. As is this, like I told you before. So we have words where we combine as, this, with some suffixes. This nyi is not really a suffix and it doesn't mean anything in itself, but if you are familiar with mennyi, with an M, which means like how much, and you combine the two, you will get this amount. Yeah. Only thing I can tell you that it means this amount, and annyi is that amount, and idő is time, and alatt is under. Yeah. So under this amount of time, or in this amount of time, we wouldn't even get our order at the restaurant. Yeah. So a few things. Az étteremben is in the restaurant or at the restaurant. Megkap which is here, to get something, to receive something. And here we use a conditional conjugation, megkapnánk, we would get, yeah? Rendelés is order, a rendelésünk is our order, and as a direct object, a rendelésünket our order, yeah? And what we see here, so we have in the sentence még, which is usually means still, yet, but if you combine még with some form of negation, many times it will mean not even. So sem in itself would mean neither. You can think of it as nem and plus is. Is is two, so no and two is like neither, yeah? But még sem with this combination in the sentence would mean not even. So in this amount of time or within this amount of time, under this amount of time, we wouldn't even get our order at the restaurant, yeah? Then we have akkor, viszont ez nem a futár lesz. So akkor is a bit tricky for you because it means then in English. It also means at that time. So let's take a look at first then. So in English, if you say then, you can have two different meanings or even more, but in general you use two different meanings for it. So you either mean after it, after that, so which would be in Hungarian more like utána, azután, aztán, and different versions of these. And it also can mean in this case, akkor. So for example, we don't have any milk. Then we will not have any pancakes today, yeah? So in this case, we will not have any pancakes today, yeah? So nincs tejünk, akkor ma nem csinálunk palacsintát, yeah? So you need to be aware that we use akkor for that meaning, so in this case, yeah? And akkor also means at that time, amikor gyerek voltam, akkor még nem voltak telefonok. So when I was a child, we wouldn't have phones at that time or back then, yeah? But in this sentence we use this meaning in this case, yeah? Akkor viszont ez nem a futár lesz. So then it won't be the delivery guy. So futár is delivery guy, yeah? And less is he, she, it will be. Or in this case won't be, yeah? So if you look at nem a futár lesz. And viszont is however. In the English sentence I wouldn't even put this when I translate the sentence, but in general it means however, yeah? De este 10-kor mégis ki lehet az. So the suffix kor usually means at o'clock, so 10-kor at 10 o'clock, yeah? And if you say este, which means evening, night, so este 10 would be 10 p.m. or 10 at night, yeah? Lehet have different meanings. It can mean he, she, it can be, so it's like a possibility. And it can also mean perhaps. So if you say ki lehet az, who could it be? And if you say mégis ki lehet az, who could it be? It would be also the same sentence in English, but this mégis is basically you wouldn't translate it, it just emphasizes, denotes surprise, shock and indignation, yeah? So it's like 10 at night, 10 p.m. Who the hell could it be? Who has the nerve to disturb me, yeah? Or why would anybody else, anybody come to my place and ring the doorbell, yeah? In English here you can say who the hell could it be, but we also have another word for that, so I would say ki a fene lehet az, so you can have other versions for the hell option, but anyways, mégis shows, emphasizes and denotes surprise, shock and indignation, yeah? Gyorsan megállítom a filmet, felpattanok, és oda sietek a kaputelefonhoz. Gyors means fast, quick, and gyorsan is quickly. Megállít valamit, to stop something. So first of all, we need to look at megállít versus megáll, yeah? So is there a very similar thing what we have seen with abba hagy and abba marad, yeah? So there are verbs that have two sides of a coin. So basically one where like a person does something and one side where basically an object is doing the thing in itself, yeah? So megállít valamit, to stop something, and megáll, something stops. Yeah? Megállítja a kocsit. He stops the car. In this case, the subject is he, ő, and the direct object will be car, kocsit. But when the car stops itself, then we say megáll a kocsi, so we use megáll, yeah, not megállít, and the subject will be car, the car, kocsi, yeah. And you may have another problem with this one, so megállít and megáll versus abba hagy, abba marad. Complicate your lives even further. So you may have the question, okay, but when do we use abba hagy, abba marad, and when do we use megállít, megáll? So basically there are synonyms, and sometimes there are synonyms that can be used in a certain context situation, and sometimes not. I don't like giving like 100% true rules, because there can be always find an exception, and you can say, hey, it's not true. But in general, as a rule of thumb, megállít, megáll are about motion, and abba hagy, abba marad are about actions. Yeah? So megállítom a kocsit, so I stop the car, or megállítom a filmet, I stop the movie. You can think of it like back then there are like a film coins, and if you stop it, also the motion of it stops. Megáll a vonat, so the train stops, yeah. And on the other side we can say abba hagyom a takarítást, yeah. So I stop cleaning. This is an action, yeah. Abba hagyom az iskolát. I stop school. Az eső miatt abba maradt a munka. Because of the rain, the work stopped. Yeah? So abba hagy, abba marad are more about actions, and megállít, megáll are more about motions. Yeah? But this is just a rule of thumb. Then we have this word pattan, to snap, but we don't really mean it like to snap. What I meant is felpattan, to quickly stand up from sitting or lying, to snap up, to jump up, yeah, basically. Siet means to hurry, but we wrote there, oda siet, yeah, oda sietek a kaputelefonhoz, to hurry over or to run over to the intercom, yeah. So oda means to there. So in general, ot means there, but we also always distinguish these things when something is motionlessly at somewhere, something moving towards something, like to there, oda, and when something is moving away from something. So from there would be onnan, yeah, you can see it here. So oda siet valahová, so oda siet is the verb with the prefix, oda, and valahová, this is the thing that you need to substitute the thing, the location, yeah, so to walk, to run hurriedly to somewhere. And in this case, to say this location, to mark this location, we will use this hoz-hez suffix. So kapu is gate, and kaputelefon is intercom. So to the intercom is a kaputelefonhoz. That's what we see here up. So oda sietek a kaputelefonhoz. Yeah? Oda teszem a sámlit a kaputelefon mellé. So tesz valamit, no need for a dash. So tesz valamit, to put something. Sámli is a stool, you know, like a little, kind of like a chair, or something like that you can stand on, so you can be higher and reach things which are higher. Mellé, it's the same principle that we looked at here, oda, ott, onnan, yeah. So mellé is to next to, so when you want to say, okay, I will put my bag next to the TV, so oda teszem a táskám a TV mellé, yeah? Or mellett is next to, when it's just something is being motionlessly somewhere, like my bag is next to the TV. A táskám a TV mellett van, and mellől is from next to. So vedd el a táskámat a TV mellől. Take my bag away from the TV. Yeah? So that's how we use it. And here we used mellé. Yeah? So I put the stool next to the intercom. Muszáj, mert különben nem érném el. Muszáj is a word that means have to or must. without assigning a person for it. And it's not like I have to or you have to. It's in general just have to. Of course, when you translate to English, you will translate it like you or we. It depends on the context, but it's just without any person assigned to it. Yeah. Különben means otherwise, and elér valamit to reach something. So where is it? Yeah. So I have to, otherwise I couldn't reach it. Yeah. So I meant in this context the intercom. Yeah. So I have to, or I must, because, mert is because, otherwise I couldn't reach it, or I wouldn't reach it. Literally it means I wouldn't reach it because érném el. Yeah. And there is another thing, so elér valamit, so this is a prefix, el, and ér is the stem of the verb, but many times we separate them and sometimes we put the prefix after the verb. So for example, here we do a negation, nem érném el, so that's why we separate it and put it backward after the verb. Yeah? Alacsony termetű vagyok. So termetű is like stature, and termetű, in Hungarian we like to use many adjectives, yeah? So in English you would just say for this one, I'm short, or I have a short stature. But what we like to say is like, I am short statured. I don't think that you would say that in English, but that's how we speak. 145 centi magas. So 100 is 100, 40 is 40, and 5 is 5. So I'm 45 centimeters tall. Yeah, magas is tall or high. So centi is short for centimeter, which is centimeter. Yeah? And here we have actually a dialogue. Yeah. So Emil means I, the protagonist in the story. Hello. So you shouldn't say hello in a in-person conversation, but when you are speaking on the phone, usually we just say hello and tessék. So tessék has many meanings. I just listed up 3 of them here. So it can mean pardon, I couldn't catch it. Yeah. It can also mean here you go. So I brought you what you asked for, so here you go, tessék. Yeah. Or the third one, that's what we will use here. On the phone, expressing that the other can start to talk. Basically, I'm listening. In English, you would say, how may I help you, or something like that. But we say, hello, tessék. Yeah? So please speak, I'm listening, I'm all ears. Hang a kaputelefonból. Jó estét kívánok, küldeményt hoztam. So a voice, hang means sound or voice. From the intercom, yeah. So bólből is from. Jó estét kívánok, I wish you good night, or good evening, yeah. So good evening. Küldeményt hoztam. So küldemény is delivery, so I brought a delivery, yeah. Este 10-kor, és nem is várok semmiféle küldeményt, yeah. So it means 10 o'clock at night, yeah. So este is night, 10-kor is at 10 o'clock. És nem is várok semmiféle küldeményt, and I'm not even expecting any delivery. Yeah? So like I told you, if you use is with some form of negation, like nem is, it usually means not even in English. Yeah? And we have the verb vár. It has 4 different meanings. It depends on the context what you want to say. So it can either mean to wait, to expect, to look forward to, and it can be also a noun as castle. Don't ask the reason, it's just arbitrary. And semmi means nothing, and féle, we put at the end of the words, it's like sort of, kind of, yeah. Semmiféle is any kind of, or you can just translate like any. So basically it means I'm not even expecting any delivery, or any kind of delivery, yeah. But in English you would just say any delivery. And I want to draw your attention that we use double negation here, yeah? So we used nem, and semmiféle is like nothing. In English, you say any, you don't say nothing kind of, or you wouldn't say that I don't expect nothing delivery. You would say, I don't expect any delivery, yeah? So in English, double negation is not really used, but in Hungarian we use it a lot, yeah? So we do a negation and we also say something like nothing or nobody and so on. Futár, this is the delivery guy. Ez a végzett utca 12? So is this Doom Street 12? Yeah, so végzett is Doom, Destiny, Fate. And this is just an address, yeah? And it's interesting here that we don't say like an ordinal number like the 12th, yeah? So we don't say 12, we just say 12. So usually for addresses, that's what we do. Igen, yes. 23-as lakás. So here, actually, we modified the normal verb. So let's take a look at 23-as lakás is like, is this apartment 23? Yeah. But let's just look at it as if it were just 3. Yeah. So 3 is 3, and 3-as is number 3. So we can modify these numbers based on what we want to say. So for example, if we want to speak about like apartments, so like apartment number 3 would be 3-as lakás, or bus number 3 would be a 3-as busz, yeah? So that's what we do. So if you see these, so we can write 1-es, 2-es, 3-as, 4-es, 5-ös, 6-os, 7-es, 8-as, 9-es, 10-es. Just to show you the first 10 digits, how they look like when you want to say like bus number 9, 9-es busz, and so on. Yeah? And another thing that I want you to draw your attention to, that any form of 3 will be, so which is 3, it will be irregular, yeah? And dropping the O between R and M. So 3. So if you want to say number 3 is 3-as, or the third, harmadik, or if you speak about like 3 people, it will say 3-an, or if you use 3 as a direct object, 3-at. And there are many other ways to modify 3, but you should be aware that we will drop the O between the R and the M. Yeah? Did I? Okay, I translated it. Igen, yes. Akkor jó helyen járok, kérem engedjen be, a főnökétől hoztam küldeményt. So then, in this case, I'm in a good place, yeah. Kérem engedjen be, please let me in, beenged valakit, to let somebody in. There's an implied direct object, engem, so please let me in. Kérem engedjen be, engem, yeah, so engem is like me as a direct object. Yeah. A főnökétől hoztam küldeményt. So főnök is boss, a főnöke is your boss formally. So basically so delivery guy many times would speak to you in a formal way. And the formal way of speaking is very similar to like if you were speak about a third person, he, she, it, yeah? So basically, a főnöke is your boss, but also means his or her boss, yeah? But in this case, your boss, but you speak formally. And a főnökétől, so from your boss, that's what it means. And I brought delivery, yeah? Beengedem, ha megmondja a főnököm teljes nevét. So I will let you in. Again, we have an implied direct object, so it will be önt is you singular as a direct object, yeah? Ha megmondja a főnököm teljes nevét, ha is if, megmond or just mond valamit, to tell something, and teljes is full, and név is name, yeah, and my boss's full name is a főnököm teljes neve, yeah. So ha megmondja a főnököm teljes nevét, I will let you in if you tell my boss's full name. Futár Bács Attila, that's just a name, and then it's a narration, that's what I think as a protagonist. Na erre nem számítottam. Now it's kind of like a feeling word, like an exclamation, it's like well, I didn't expect this, so that's what it means. Na, erre nem számítottam. Well, I didn't expect this. So, számít valamire, to expect something. And erre, like I told you, this is this plus the suffix ra, yeah? Because this expression uses ra, so that's how you create this. I didn't expect this. Tényleg így hívják a főnökömet. So, that's in fact my boss's name, yeah? So, tény is fact, and tényleg is really, in fact, indeed. You can have many ways to translate this, and így is this way, because to call somebody somehow, that's the expression, hívnak valakit valahogy, yeah? So this is really how my boss is called. Yeah? Jöjjön be, 9. emelet, sajnos a lift nem működik. So here we will see something interesting. So that is like the imperative conjugation, the imperative mode. When you give commands or instructions to others, yeah, something like that, don't do it, or come up, yeah, and something like that. Or in this case, jöjjön be, come in, yeah. And it will be a bit, this is an irregular kind of thing, the word come, because if you want to speak to informally, to singular you, which is te, you should say gyere. You can say jöjj, but I would say you shouldn't, yeah? So that is very, very rarely used, but you say gyere. So gyere, come. And if you speak to singular, no, plural you, informal, then you would say ti, gyertek, yeah? You can also say jöjjetek, but we don't really use that, yeah? So gyertek, come, you all, informal. But if you speak formally, then it will be ön, formal you singular, and in this case you would say jöjjön, yeah, and that one is normal. So we don't have a version with the j, yeah, so we just say jöjjön, and önök is will be jöjjenek. So you all formally, please come, yeah. So jöjjön be, please come in, 9. emelet, the 9th floor, emelet is floor, sajnos, unfortunately, the elevator or the lift is out of order. Yeah, so működik means to function, to work, but this one means unfortunately the elevator is out of order. Yeah? Csend. Csend or csönd, both of them good, means silence. Or there's silence in this case. Itt van még. Are you still here? Yeah, so még is still, it is here, and one is like you are, formal way of speaking. Yeah? Igen, na jó, nem bánom, felmegyek. Kérem várjon meg, mert lehet kicsit lassú leszek. So yes, what is it? Well, all right, I will go up. Please wait for me because I might be a little slow. So no is like I already told you, it's like an exclamation feeling where well, okay. And this bán valamit is actually an expression and it's good to know. So bán valamit, to mind something, to regret something. But when you say nem bánom, literally means I don't mind it, and we use it many times as an expression, fine, all right, agreed. When you just agree to something that is in some way annoying or cumbersome to you. So basically he just got the news that he have to walk the stairs up to the 9th floor. So he's a bit reluctant, but then, well, all right. So he's kind of like agreed to something that is a bit annoying or cumbersome to him. Yeah. I will go up, felmegyek. So fel is up and megy is go, and megyek is I go. Kérem várjon meg, so please wait for me, so this is imperative, formal way, because I might be, so lehet is perhaps, or I might, or in this case might be, I will be a bit slow, yeah, so I might be a bit slow. Sanyi bentről kikiabál nekem. Sanyi is shouting out to me from inside. So maybe it sounds a bit weird in English, but in Hungarian we can be very specific, especially when you are telling a story. So bentről from the inside, basically I'm outside at the intercom and he is inside in the living room or some room, yeah? And kiabál is to yell, and kikiabál is to out. So many times we are expressive, so he's yelling out to me, yeah? So nekem. So bent is inside, kiabál to shout, to yell. That is something interesting here. So kiabál is maybe the only verb that starts with ki, and ki is either mean who or out. As a prefix it always means out, yeah? And in this case it will be not a prefix, yeah? So we have things like kivesz, to take out. So kiveszem a hűtőből a tejet. I take the milk out of the fridge, yeah? And it matters because sometimes prefixes separate, but kiabál doesn't have a prefix. So kiabál is, the ki from kiabál is not a prefix. And that can be very deceptive for students, yeah? So let's take a look at when we would separate a prefix. So you can see nevet ki, don't take it out, yeah? From the fridge, for example. But if you want to say don't shout, you should say ne kiabálj. So you can see that don't take it out, the ki went after the verb, but here ne kiabálj. So it's not a prefix here, yeah? And actually in this example we have a prefix kikiabál, so it actually shows you that it needs to get an extra suffix if you want to say to shout out, yeah? And that's what I just told you, kikiabál, to yell out, yeah? Ki az? Itt a kaja? So who is it? Is there food here? Nem, hanem csomagom érkezett. No, but, or I would say, in English I wouldn't even say but or anything. No, I've just got a package, yeah? So csomag is package and érkezik, to arrive. I just got a package, or a package of mine just arrived, or something like that, yeah? Or my package is arrived. Ilyenkor, at this time, at a time like this, so ilyen is something like this, and kor is about time, so at this or at a time like this. Úgy tűnik, so tűnik means to seem, yeah? And úgy is so or that way. So you can translate it, it seems so, or you can just say apparently. És kitől? So and from whom. So in this case, ki means who and not out. So and from whom, tól suffix, in this case means from. A főnökömtől. From my boss. But what is really important here, that I always try to teach my students to give succinct, short answers. If you can do that, that's very native-like, yeah? So natives in their own language can be succinct and they don't need like 4 sentences to say something that they can say in just one sentence. For example, I made in this video in English, it's not my native language. Sometimes I say 5 sentences which you could say just in one. Yeah, so, but what we can do with this? So, if somebody asks kitől, you shouldn't say a long sentence, so from whom, you shouldn't say a long sentence, I got it from my boss, a főnökömtől kaptam. You can just say a főnökömtől, yeah? And the other thing that you need to use the suffix. So in 99% of the time, when people use a suffix in the question word, like ki is who, and they use kitől, then you should say a főnökömtől. Basically, you can cheat with the natives. I mean, they already used the suffix that you require in your answer. You can just listen and cheat with it. You may don't even know the suffix or the expression, but if you can figure out what he or she asks you about, then okay, so she is asking about my boss, so I should put tól on it. So főnökömtől, yeah? So I think it's a very useful thing to master. Jó nagy paraszt, szombat este sem hagy téged pihenni. So he is such a big jerk, he's such a jerk, not even Saturday night does he let you rest. So paraszt means peasant, but we also use it for jerks and assholes, yeah? So like a person who is like not a polite or normal person. Hagy valakit csinálni valamit. To let somebody to do something. So szombat is Saturday, este is night, and he doesn't even let you on Saturday night to rest. Yeah? So téged is you as a direct object. Yeah? Hagy is to let, and pihenni is to rest. Szombat means Saturday, and if you want to master the Hungarian days of the week, I just made a video recently. The link is here, or you can also find it in the description below. I will put it there. Úgy tűnik. It seems so, apparently. A futának már rég fel kellett volna érnie. The delivery guy should have been here by now. So már means already, but we will not really put this word into the English translation. Maybe you can say the delivery guy should have been here already by now. Anyways, felér valahová, it means to get, to be somewhere. Yeah. So because the protagonist is on the 9th floor and he just wants to say he should be in here, up here by now. Yeah. Fel kellett volna érnie. He should have been up here. Let's dissect this one. Yeah. So first, just let's take a look at conditional past. We will use two different verbs to see this. So in Hungarian, we just use past tense and volna to create conditional past. Ettem volna, I would have eaten. Aludtam volna, I would have slept. Then we also have kell, which means have to, must, need to. So let's take a look at, if you want to say I have to eat, you would say ennem kell. If you want to say I have to sleep, aludnom kell. Yeah? The infinitive forms actually enni and aludni. As far as I know, maybe Hungarian is the only language where you can conjugate the infinitive. So basically, enni is to eat, and if you want to say I have to eat, you would say ennem kell. So there's a conjugation chart for it. We will not get into details. I just show you how it looks like. Or aludnom kell, I have to sleep. Yeah. Now if we make it to the past, had to, needed to, it will be kellett. So ennem kellett, I have to, actually sorry, it's I had to eat. Yeah, so ennem kellett, I had to eat. Aludnom kellett, I had to sleep. Yeah? So ennem kell, ennem kellett. Aludnom kell, aludnom kellett. You just conjugate kell into past. Yeah? So kell, kellett. Then we can combine the two. Kell, like have to, had to, and conditional past. Ennem kellett volna, I should have eaten. Aludnom kellett volna, I should have slept. Yeah? And I want to show you, so how would it look like if you speak about he, she, yeah? So, because basically you conjugate this, you can make it like you, he, she, we, you all, and they, and so on. I just wanted to show you one different person. So in this case, ennie kellett volna, he should have eaten, or she should have eaten. Aludnia kellett volna, he should have slept, yeah? So if you look at back here, well, that's what happened to me. So kellett volna érnie, so he should have been here, and we have a prefix which complicates the thing even further. Yeah. So by the way, if you are feel a bit overwhelmed by so much grammar here, it's normal. Now I just want to show you things that you can recognize, and if you actually have a deliberate plan to do these things, you can conquer it, so you can manage it. So first you just learn present tense conjugations, and then past, future, then you will learn conditional, then you learn how to use kell, have to, then you use it in past tense, then you combine these. So if you just see it in once, it can be overwhelming, but if you actually practice, and you practice like 2-3 times a week, or maybe even more, and you just progressing in slow steps, you can do it, and it's not like brain surgery or something like that. It's complicated, but if you do it by step, you can do it. I'm sure I've seen it with many students. Yeah. Okay. And what was the original sentence? Just again, one more time. So the delivery guy should have been here by now. Yeah? Tényleg lassú. He's slow indeed. Pár perc múlva lépteket hallok a lépcső felől. So pár means different things. Usually it means a pair or few, some. Yeah? And after a few minutes, I hear footsteps from the stairs. Yeah? So this múlva, first we need to look at what is múlik. So múlik is a verb to pass time. Yeah? So múlik az idő, the time passes. But we actually have expressions if like when we want to say like after 5 minutes, 5 perc múlva, or 5 minutes later is the same thing for us, 5 perc múlva. Yeah? Basically it means by 5 minutes passed. Yeah, that's how we create this thing. But you just need to you always need to think of bigger chunks. I mean, I show you now how we can dissect it. But basically, if you want to say something like after 5 minutes, you just think of it 5 perc múlva, and you shouldn't think like by passing 5 minutes. It's too complicated. Lép is to step. Lépés is a step like a noun. Yeah. But actually here we have a figure of speech, and we will not use lépés as the noun, but we will use léptek. So lépteket hall, to hear steps. Yeah? Valami felől, from the direction of something. So after a few minutes I hear footsteps from the stairs. Yeah? So a lépcső felől. That's what I should. Valami felől, from the direction of something. Yeah? És valami furcsa kopogást is. And some sort of weird knocking or some strange knocking. Yeah? So valami is something. Kopog is to knock. Not nudge, but knock. And kopogás is knocking. This is a noun. Yeah? Mindjárt itt van. Mindjárt means mindjárt, azonnal, már is, very similar words. It means right away, immediately, or many times I would just translate them almost. So it means he is almost here. Yeah? Mindjárt ott vagyok. So for example, in the phone you tell to your friends, mindjárt ott vagyok, it means I'm right there, I'm almost there. Yeah? Or mindjárt itt van, he is almost here. Amikor felér a lépcsőn és befordul a folyosómra, akkor meglátom, hogy sétabottal jött. When he comes up the stairs and turns into my corridor, I see he's come with a cane. So mikor means when, but we use it mostly in questions. Amikor, we use it in statements, it also means when. Yeah? Folyosó is corridor, meglát valamit, to notice something. Usually the first glass. So I don't think you really have a structure for this in English, but we like to describe the first moment. So the moment I noticed him, or the moment I seen him, yeah, the first glance, the first moment. Séta is walk, and bot is stick. So sétabot is a walking cane. Yeah? So when he comes up the stairs, the moment when he just stepping on the highest step and I'm seeing him, and turns into my corridor, I see he is come with a cane. Yeah? Már értem a lassúság okát. So lassú is slow, an adjective. Lassúság is a noun, slowness. Yeah? Ok is reason, and valami oka, the reason of something. So for example, a lassúság oka, the reason of the slowness. Yeah? So now I understand the reason for the slowness or of the slowness. Yeah? De a sétabotnál is nagyobb meglepetés, hogy a futár a nagybátyám. So, but even more surprising than the cane is that the delivery guy is my uncle. Yeah? So nagy is big, and nagyobb is bigger. Yeah? So if you usually see a double B, it's almost all the time will mean some kind of comparative, so more, so faster, bigger, harder. Yeah? So gyorsabb, nagyobb, keményebb. A legnagyobb, the biggest. I just wanted to show you how to make these kind of things. So usually you just use this one, nagyobb, and you put a leg, and it will create the biggest. Yeah? Valaki nagybátyja, somebody's uncle. Yeah? Recently I just did a video about family members in Hungarian. Basically it's a shadowing video where you can practice pronunciation with basic sentences with family members, and you can see all the translations for any type of family members you can think of, like cousins, great-grandfathers, wife, and so on. Yeah? So you will see it there. And I also, on my paid Patreon member area, I also created a PDF where I go into further details with that. So basically, you can see the Hungarian transcript for that video, the English translation. You can see the comprehensive list of the family member glossary and explanations, and the possessives for irregular family members, because some of the family members have irregular possessives, and I just listed up there the irregular ones and what to do with them. Yeah, and you can also find the transcript in the free member area. So I show you what kind of things is there. So for example, nagybát, nagybácsi, bácsika means uncle. Yeah, you need to know that only nagybácsi can be used without possessives. So in other words, only this word can be used as a designation. So if you want to say I became an uncle, you can say nagybácsi lettem. But you can't use bácsika lettem, or you also wouldn't say nagybáty lettem. That would be a bit weird, yeah? So you need to know the small differences between usage, yeah? So be careful, only nagybácsi can be used like this, but nagybát and nagybáty and bácsika can only be used with possessives. For example, if you want to say he is my uncle, ő a nagybátyám, ő a bácsikám, ő a nagybácsim, yeah? So you would use these. Actually, I don't really like the third option here. You can say that, but generally I would say this or this. Ő a nagybátyám, ő a bácsikám. Yeah? So just to see again, nagybácsi, nagybátyám. So it was even a bigger surprise than the walking cane that the delivery guy was my uncle. Yeah? A nagybátyám. Okay. Gábor, te mióta vagy futár? So, Gábor, since when have you been a delivery guy? So, mióta either means since when or how long. So, how long have you been doing this? Yeah. But I want to translate it since when to since when, because it shows some irony, and basically that's what he uses here. Yeah, but you can also translate it like how long have you been a delivery guy? Yeah. Dehogy vagyok futár, csak gondoltam, megtréfállak. I'm not a delivery guy at all. Just thought I'd play a joke on you. Yeah? So we use this dehogy when somebody asks a question and you want to deny it. I mean, here is like, how long have you been a delivery guy? So basically he made an assumption even if it was just a joke, and he want to deny it. Yeah? So, of course not, dehogy. No way, not at all, don't be silly. Yeah? So, dehogy vagyok futár, I'm not a delivery guy at all, csak gondoltam, megtréfállak. I just thought, gondoltam, I thought that I play a joke on you. Yeah? So, tréfa is joke, prank. Megtréfál valakit is to prank somebody, to play a joke on somebody. And now we have this very weird lock-leg suffix. So when you learned verb conjugation, you may have learned about this one. So let's take a look at indefinite verb conjugation, and let's use the verb szeret, to love. So szeretek futni, I love to run. Szeretem Erikát, I love Erika. Szeretem őt, I love her. Szeretem őket, I love them. Szeretem a sört, I love beer. And if you want to say something like Péter loves you, singular, so Péter szeret téged, or Péter loves you all, Péter szeret titeket, or we love you, singular, szeretünk téged, or szeretünk titeket, we love you all, you can see that the verb conjugation different. So in the left circle, you can see that I am the subject, yeah? So I love Turam, I love Erika, I love her, and so on. And in the right side, you can see that the direct objects are either téged or titeket, so you singular or you all as direct object, yeah? And when we have the common cross-section, when I do something with you, then we will use the verb conjugation, the stem lak-lek. So I don't say ek, szeret ek, and I don't say em, szeret em. So szeretek is indefinite and szeretem is the definite conjugation, but we use lak-lek instead. Yeah. So another way to look at it. So I didn't say this. So what does this mean? Szeretlek means I love you. It means singular you. Also, szeretlek téged, you can emphasize the téged part, so you singular. Szeretlek téged. Or you can also say szeretlek titeket, I love you all. Yeah? So basically, if you just speak to one person, so I love you, singular you, you can just say szeretlek. Because lak-lek already has this information. It has two pieces of information. That I is the subject and téged, you singular, is the direct object. Yeah? So that's why you can omit this téged part because it's a bit redundant, only if you want to emphasize it. Yeah? So lak-lek also has the information like titeket, you plural, but in that case we would say titeket all the time because otherwise it would be a bit ambiguous. Yeah? And let's take a look at with megtréfál the verb. So megtréfálom Pétert, I play a joke on Péter. Megtréfálok egy embert, I play a joke on a person, yeah, I prank a person. Megtréfálom őt, I play a joke on him, I prank him. And megtréfállak, I play a joke on you, I prank you. Yeah, so we don't even need to say téged, because just like I said, lak-lek has the information that I do something with you. Yeah? Oké, sikerült, már kezdtem azon gondolkozni, hogy felhívom a főnököm és felmondok. Gyere be! So, you did it, you managed to play a joke on me. Yeah? I started to think of calling my boss and quit. Come in. So, we have this sikerül valami valakinek, somebody manages to do something. But this one be a bit weird. It's very similar to tetszik. If you looked at my other video, it will ring a bell for you. So in English, you is the subject. In Hungarian, the thing you manage to do will be the subject. So let's take a look at this. Sikerül valami valaminek. Something is successful for somebody. I know it's a bit weird. So let's say you want to speak about your exam, that it was successful. You passed it. Sikerült a vizsgám. My exam was successful. In other way, you would generally many times you would just say in English, I passed the exam. Yeah, we also have a verb for that, but I don't want to confuse you. Many times you would just say sikerült a vizsgám. My exam was successful. Yeah, so or sikerült a vizsgád. Your exam was successful. You passed the exam. Yeah. So the thing that was you managed, basically doing the conjugation, so it's he, she, it, in this case it, managed, yeah, so past tense and it managed, yeah, or was successful, and a vizsga is the exam, and we put the possessive endings like your, my, and so on. Sikerült a vizsgája. His exam was successful. He passed the exam. Sikerült a vizsgánk. Sikerült a vizsgátok. You all. Your exam was successful. Sikerült a vizsgájuk. Their exam was successful. Yeah? A vizsga nekem sikerült, nem neked. If you want to emphasize that I passed the exam, not you, then you can use this knock next. So basically what we see in here up, that this is the suffix you need to use. And sometimes we don't put these suffixes on names, but we create pronouns like me or you, and it always depends what is the suffix, what will be in Hungarian. So for example, if you ask how do you say me in Hungarian, it depends. If the expression requires knock-knock, it will be nekem, and also neked will be for you or you, yeah? So the exam was successful for me, not for you. I passed the exam, not you. Yeah, and I already told you that there is, we have expressions to pass an exam. I just wanted to show you this kind of expression, how it works, yeah? Sikerült megjavítani a csapot. I managed to fix the tap. Yeah, so it's not just about passing an exam. It can be many things that you managed. Yeah, so I managed to fix the tap. I fixed the tap. Sikerült megjavítani a csapot. Yeah, and also there's an implied neked. So many times we refer back to the previous sentences, so we don't really need to say neked or and so on. So for example here, he just said that he played a joke on me, and I'm the protagonist. I wanted to say you managed, yeah? So sikerült neked, but basically you just say sikerült, yeah? Már kezdtem azon gondolkozni, I started to think about that. So I started to think of calling my boss and quit, yeah? So felhív valakit, so to call somebody, I call my boss, and felmond is to quit, to speak up or to tell up. It doesn't make sense in English, but felmond is to quit, yeah? Gyere be, come in. Yeah? Then we go to, bejövök, de nem maradok hosszan, csak ezt akarom odaadni neked. I'll come in, but I won't stay long, I just want to give you this. So odaad valamit valakinek, to hand over or to give something to somebody. Yeah, so I will come in, but I don't stay long, so marad is to stay. I just want to give this to you, neked. Yeah? Csak most vettem észre, hogy egy kis fekete dobozt tart a másik kezében. I just noticed that he was holding a small black box in his other hand. So észrevesz valamit, to notice something, and doboz is box. So I just noticed, so vettem észre, hogy egy kis fekete dobozt tart a másik kezében. So tart valamit, to hold something. So kis fekete dobozt is the direct object, yeah? So you can see the T at the end, doboz box and black, so little black box. He holds, tart, a másik kezében, in his other hand, yeah? So a másik, the other or the other one, and case is hand. Felnyitom a dobozt. I'm opening up the box. Fel is up, and nyit valamit is to open something. Megkéred a kezem? So megkéri valaki kezét means to propose somebody, but basically what we say to ask somebody's hand. So are you asking my hand? So are you proposing to me? That's what we're asking. Ne légy ostoba, Hesztert veszem el, és azt szeretném, ha te lennél a gyűrű hordozó az esküvőn. Vállalod? So ostoba is imbecile, but I would translate it like don't be silly, yes, or don't be an imbecile. Esztert veszem el, so elvesz valakit to marry somebody. And it's interesting because only a man can say this. We have different expressions for different people. So elvesz is to take somebody. So only a man can take away somebody. And the other one would be for women. So we would say hozzá megy valakihez, yeah, to marry somebody. Only a woman can say this. So, because only a woman can go to somebody, hozzá megy, so go to somebody, yeah? So you take somebody and they going to you, yeah? So that's how it works. És azt szeretném, so, and I would like that, if you will be, or lennél is like you would be the ring bearer on the wedding? Do you take the job? So, where is it? Sorry. So, will you do it? Yes, so I want you to be the ring bearer at the wedding. Will you do it? Persze, örömmel. Nem is tudom, hogy mit mondjak. Öröm is joy, happiness, but örömmel means like gladly, happily. Yeah, so of course, happily. I don't even know what to say. Yeah, so nem is tudom, hogy mit mondjak. I don't even know what to say. Remek. Tarts titokban, és ne mondd el senkinek. So, titokban tart valamit, to keep something a secret. Titok is secret as a noun. And now a caveat. Yeah? So, many times I find students to say titkos when they would need to say titok, and vice versa. Yeah? So, titkos is secret as an adjective, and titok is secret as a noun. Keep in mind. Yeah? So, it's a secret. As titok. This is a noun in this case. Yeah? A secret letter. Egy titkos levél. So, this one is an adjective. Yeah? So, a secret letter. So keep it secret and don't tell anyone. And you can see, so senki is nobody, no one. You can see it here. And we do a double negation again. We say don't tell nobody. But in English you say don't tell anybody, yeah, or anyone. Mi az? What's up? Psst. Because I'll just show you. So basically he stopped speaking. He was like listening or something like that. Yeah, and the protagonist say, what's up, what's happening? And he said, psst, hallod? So, shh, do you hear it? So we say psst when we want to say shh, yeah? And hallod is do you hear it? It's weird in English, many times you would say, can you hear it? Can you see it? We would never ever use tud, can for senses, yeah? So if you want to say, I can't see, I'm blind, you would say nem látok. So basically, I don't see. We don't say I can see, we only say I don't see. I can't feel it, we would just say nem érzem, I don't feel it. Or I don't hear it, or I can't hear it, we would just say I don't hear it. Nem hallom. Yeah? Hallod? Do you hear it? Can you hear it? Nem hallok semmit. I hear, what is it? I can't hear anything. Yeah? So again, double negation. In English, you say I can't hear anything. In Hungarian, we say I don't hear nothing. Yeah? Pont ez az. Egy ideje megszűnt a csócsálás a nappalitban. Egy perce még tisztán hallottam. So, valami megszűnik, something stop, ceases, another synonym for to stop, sorry. Csócsál is to chomp, like when you eat very loudly, like that, and csócsálás, chomping is the noun, yeah? So, that's exactly the problem, pont ez az. We don't say problem, but when you say something like pont ez az, so when you use the word pont, it's like when you want to, yeah, that's exactly my problem, yeah? For a while now, the chomping in your living room has stopped. I could hear it clearly a minute ago, yeah? So, for a while, egy ideje, a csócsálás, the chomping stopped in your living room. So, nappali is living room. Yeah? A minute ago, I could hear it clearly. Yeah? So tisztán, clearly, tiszta is clear, and clearly is tisztán, I heard it. Yeah? Ebben a pillanatban Gábor hirtelen benyúlt a szobába, és a hajánál fogva behúzta a konyhába Sanyit, a haveromat. So again, ebben means as plus ben, and pillanat is moment. So ebben a pillanatban, at this moment, or in this moment, benyúl, to reach in. So usually picture like Gábor, he is like reaching into the living room and pulling out somebody by his hair. Yeah, so basically it means so at this moment Gábor suddenly reached into the room and dragged my friend Sanyi into the kitchen by his hair. Yeah, so haj is hair, fog is to hold, to keep something in your hands, to grab. Yeah, a hajánál fogva
holding by his hair or just by his hair. Yeah, and Sanyi is short for Sándor. So Sándor is the protagonist's friend, and the short is Sanyi for that. Yeah. Okay, good. Beszélj, fiú, mit hallottál? So beszélj is imperative for speak. To speak, boy, what did you heard? What did you hear? Yeah. So mit is what as a direct object, and hallottál is you heard. Semmit, csak azt, hogy Ferinek vigyázni kell egy gyűrűre. So, nothing, only that Freddy has to watch over a ring, yeah? So, vigyázz valamire is to take care of something, to look after something, to watch over something, yeah? So, nothing, I heard nothing, only that Freddy has to, so kell, watch over, vigyázni, a ring, yeah? So, egy gyűrűre. És még, what else? Sanyi próbált elfutni Gábor mellett ki a lakásból, de Gábor az útját állta és megcsóválta a fejét. So, Sanyi tried to run past Gábor out of the apartment, but Gábor stood in his way and shook his head. Yeah? So, Sanyi megpróbált, megpróbál is to try, and he tried to run past Gábor, so Gábor mellett, so next to him, out of the apartment, so ki a lakásból, but Gábor stood his way, so útját állja valakinek, to stand in somebody's way, és megcsóválta a fejét. Yeah? So, csóvál is like to wag, like usually you would use it for like a dog's tail, he wags his tail, csóválja a farkát, but you also use it when you shake his head like this, yeah? So, megcsóválja a fejét, or csóválja a fejét, yeah? So, he was shaking his hand. Itt úgyse jössz át. So, first of all, it means you shall not pass, yeah? It's an iconic line from the Lord of the Rings. And the way they translated in the movie, and that's what they also used here in the text, it úgyse jössz át. Actually, I don't really like this translation because úgyse, úgysem, úgysincs has many meanings, but usually it means, it shows some doubt, and also it doesn't matter because of a particular thing, will not let it happen or will make it pointless. So I'll show you some examples. Úgyse fog sikerülni, it won't work anyway, yeah? So, because in general we would just say nem fog sikerülni, nem fog sikerülni, it won't work, yeah? So that would be your normal sentence. If you say úgyse, it shows some form of doubt. It shows, it means that, yeah, there are some other circumstances which will not let it happen or will make it pointless, yeah? So, or another example, elmehetünk, de úgyse lesz ott. We can go, but he won't be there anyway. So what's the point, yeah? Or also little kids like to tease the other kids. You can't catch me, you can't catch me. Úgyse kapsz el, yeah? So little kids would say something like that. Anyways, I don't really felt like valid here, this word choice úgyse or úgysem, úgysincs. I would prefer this one, like itt nem jössz át, yeah? With this úgyse, for me, it's kind of like saying like a little kid, you will not come here. You will not pass here anyway, yeah? So, I don't know. It was a weird word choice for me, but that's what they used, and I wanted to use the same lines in this story. And átjön, átjön, to pass through, yeah? So, I will write it down here. Átjön, to pass through, to come through, and so on, yeah? Okay, Gábor bácsi, én nem akartam hallgatózni. So, we have this word for old people, like bácsi, and basically we use it in designations when you speak to like Uncle John, but Uncle John is not as a family member, but just your neighbor or somebody on the street who you know, yeah? So that's how we speak. Gábor bácsi, so Uncle Gábor, én nem akartam hallgatózni. So I didn't want to eavesdrop. Yeah? So hallgatózik is to eavesdrop. Mit hallottál még? What else you heard? Azt, hogy elveszi Esztert. That you will marry Esther. Yeah? So elvesz valaki, to marry somebody. Ez maradjon is köztünk, most mennem kell, még meg kell néznem egy potenciális esküvői helyszínt. So let's keep that between us. So között is between, köztünk is between us. So let's keep it between us. This is an imperative conjugation. In English I would just say let's keep it between us. And most mennem kell. Now I have to go. I have to go. I've got to check out a potential wedding venue. Yeah. So esküvő is wedding, and helyszín is location or venue in this case. Yeah. So I still have to check a potential wedding avenue today. Hová mész? So hol is where, honnan is where from, and hova, or we can also use hova, both of them totally good, is where to. Hová mész? Where do you go? Vasudvarba. So you can try to translate it. Vas is iron, udvar is yard. But we have this extra D, which is usually it's not normal, but I took a lot of stuff from the Lord of the Rings, if you've seen, and in the Hungarian book translation, they say, or also in the movie, they say udvard, which is not a real word, it's created for that fantasy word. Anyways, Vasudvard is in the movie, it's Isengard, the place where Saruman lives. Yeah? Vasudvardba ismerősen hangzik. So ismerős as an adjective means familiar. Hangzik valahogy is sounds somehow. So it's to Isengard, it sounds familiar. Sanyi rám néz, és elkezd engem a vállamnál finoman rázni. So Sanyi looks at me and starts, elkezd, to shake me, rázni engem, to me, by my shoulders and gently, so finoman. So Sanyi looks at me and starts shaking me gently by the shoulders. Néz valakire, to look at somebody, and in this case the rare suffix will turns into rám, at me. Yeah? So in this case, vál is shoulder, ráz is to shake, finom is gentle, and finoman is gently. Feri, kelj fel! Most fognak bemenni Móriába. Ne aludj, lemaradsz az egészről. So Feri, get up. They are entering Moria now. Don't sleep, you will miss the whole thing. Yeah? So fel kell is to get up, and in this case this is an imperative mode, kelj fel. Fog also means will, the future tense modal verb, yeah? So bemenni is to enter, to go in. So they will go into Moria right now. So Moria is again a place in The Lord of the Rings. It's a big mine where the dwarves are mining. Lemarad valamiről, to miss something. Ne aludj, don't sleep, lemaradsz az egészről. You will miss the whole thing. Egész is whole, and valamiről, so az egészről, the whole thing. Mi? What? A kanapén fekszek és csorog a nyál a számból. So I'm lying on the couch with the drool coming out of my mouth. Yeah? So kanapé is couch, fekszik is to lie, csorog to drip. Basically a honey can csorog, so csorog a méz, the honey is dripping. Or also when you are drooling, yeah, so when like saliva or drool coming out of your mouth, that would be csorog a nyál, so nyál is saliva. A számból, out of my mouth. Yeah, so actually sigh is mouth, and it has an irregular conjugation, so my mouth will be a szám. Yeah, so my mouth, a szám, so out of my mouth or from my mouth. Aludtam? Was I asleep? Az egész csak álom volt? Was it all a dream? So álom is dream, and was the whole thing just a dream? Csöngetnek. The doorbell rings again. So we see in this sentence previously. I hope you liked it. And I hope you learned a lot of stuff here. Sorry if it was long, and also if I was a bit slow. I also need to think in English and to find out the best way to explain these things to you. If you like this, please let me know in the comments so I can know that you are still interested in more, or if not, maybe I will do other type of videos. If you liked this one, I have another video like this. I will put the link in the description, or you can also see it here. I had another story. That video used, I think it was a simpler story, so it was more beginner friendly. But even though if you are an advanced learner, you can also pick up many good stuff there. Yeah, that is an hour long video. This is just, this is not 40 minutes long or 15. This is just how I could make a picture of that. Yeah, and you can have access to the Hungarian and English text if you join my free Patreon members. You can find the direct link in the description. Yeah, and if you join my paid Patreon members, you can have access to the same notes you've seen in this video, and the Hungarian and English text as well, among many other learning materials in the paid member area. És ne feledjétek, a gyakorlás teszi a mestert. And don't forget, practice makes perfect.